In the quiet streets of Millbrook, a small town nestled in the rolling hills of Yorkshire, Emma Wilson walked with determination, her worn-out boots echoing against the damp pavement. At 28, she carried more weight than most women her age, not just the heavy bag of cleaning supplies, but the invisible burden of a single mother fighting to survive. The morning was cold, and fog hung low between the old brick houses. Emma's son Jack, a bright-eyed 8-year-old, walked slightly behind her, his schoolbag patched and mended several times. He knew not to ask for new things. They couldn't afford new things. Her day started before sunrise. 3 jobs: morning, cleaning at the local hotel, afternoon shift at the factory, and evening cleaning at the community centre. Each job was a lifeline, each hour a battle against poverty that seemed to chase her like a relentless shadow. The hotel manager, Mr. Thompson, always gave her extra hours when he could. He saw something in Emma, a quiet strength that refused to break. Her hands were rough with small cuts and calluses that told stories of hard work. She never complained, never asked for sympathy. Jack was her world. Every sacrifice, every extra hour, every skipped meal was for him. His school uniform was always clean, though visibly old. His shoes, carefully polished, covered the holes at the soles. Emma made sure he looked presentable, even when their life was anything but perfect. That morning, something changed. As Emma dropped Jack at school, his teacher, Mrs. Reynolds, pulled her aside. Emma's heart raced, fearing bad news, but Mrs. Reynolds spoke softly with kindness in her eyes. "Jack is an exceptional student," she said. "He's brilliant in mathematics and always helps other children, but I'm worried about his winter coat." Emma's cheeks burned with a mix of pride and embarrassment. The coat was Jack's only warm layer, inherited from a cousin, patched multiple times. She knew it was showing its age, revealing their struggle. "We're managing," Emma replied, her voice steady despite the trembling inside. That night, after her factory shift, Emma sat by the small kitchen table. Jack was asleep in the next room. The single lamp cast a soft light on her worn hands as she carefully mended his coat. Patches upon patches, each stitch a silent promise of love and hope. Tears didn't fall. Emma had no time for tears. She had a son to raise, dreams to protect. Her tiny apartment was sparse but clean. Every corner spoke of careful management. No waste, no unnecessary spending. A small shelf held Jack's school awards, her most precious possession. Each certificate was a reminder that their current situation was temporary. Outside, the winter wind pressed against the thin walls. Inside, Emma continued sewing, her movements precise and determined. She thought about tomorrow, another day of cleaning, working, hoping. Jack mumbled in his sleep. She looked up, a soft smile crossing her tired face. He was dreaming, probably, of the mathematics problems he loved so much. In that moment, all her exhaustion seemed meaningless. Her phone buzzed, a message from the factory about an extra shift. Most people would see it as a burden. For Emma, it was an opportunity. Every extra pound meant better food, maybe a new book for Jack, perhaps saving a little for his future. The clock struck midnight. Emma finished mending the coat, pressed it carefully, and prepared Jack's lunch for the next day. Leftover bread would become sandwiches, mixed with the last of their jam. Nothing would go to waste. As she prepared to sleep, Emma allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. Life had been hard since her husband left, but she had made a promise to herself and to Jack. They would not just survive, they would thrive. Her eyes closed, but her spirit remained alert. Tomorrow would be another day of hard work, hope, and unbreakable love. In the silence of the night, a mother's resilience whispered through the small apartment, a promise of better days, a testament to the power of unconditional love. The community center stood like a beacon of hope in Millbrook's central square, its brick walls promising something different from the usual routine. Emma hesitated at the entrance, her cleaning uniform still slightly damp from her morning shift at the hotel. A bright poster caught her eye. Free skills training. Learn computer programming. The words seemed to dance, challenging her long-held belief that education was something beyond her reach. Jack had been talking about computers for months. his young mind hungry for knowledge they could never afford. Inside, the room felt intimidating. Young people with neat laptops and confident smiles filled the space. Emma felt out of place, her rough hands and tired eyes contrasting with their fresh-faced enthusiasm. The instructor, a kind-looking man named David, noticed her uncertainty. "First, time?" he asked, his voice warm and encouraging. Emma nodded, her confidence wavering. "I'm not sure I can do this," she whispered, thinking of the endless shifts waiting for her. David smiled. "Everyone starts somewhere. Technology doesn't care about your past, only your willingness to learn." The first class was a blur of strange words and complex screens. While younger participants typed quickly, Emma's fingers moved slowly, each click a small battle against her own self-doubt. Binary, algorithms, coding, words that seemed like a foreign language. During a break, a young woman named Lucy approached her. "You're brave," she said simply. Most people our age wouldn't even try. Those words became Emma's lifeline. Each evening after her factory shift, after putting Jack to bed, she would practice. Old laptop borrowed from the community center, notes scattered around, she learned bit by bit. Jack became her unexpected supporter. He would sit beside her, explaining things he'd learned at school. "Look, Mum," he'd say, pointing at the screen. "This is how computers think." Her first real breakthrough came unexpectedly. A simple program that calculated Jack's school grades, something she created entirely by herself. The pride in her son's eyes was worth more than any paycheck. The community center became her second home. David and other instructors noticed her dedication. They saw something special, not just technical skills, but a determination that burned brighter than any young student's enthusiasm. Weeks turned into months. Emma's confidence grew. The same hands that once scrubbed floors now danced. Across computer keyboards, she learned to create websites, understand basic programming languages, and most importantly, believe in herself. Her world expanded beyond cleaning jobs and factory shifts. The computer represented possibility, a gateway to a different life for her and Jack. One evening, after a particularly challenging class, Emma realized something profound. Learning wasn't just about acquiring skills. It was about proving to herself that she could change her circumstances. The other students began to see her differently, no longer the older woman struggling in the corner, but a determined learner, who approached every challenge with quiet strength. Her boss at the hotel noticed changes too. "You seem different," he commented one morning. Emma just smiled. She was different, more confident, more hopeful. Jack's excitement became her greatest motivation. He would tell his friends, "My mum is learning computers. She can do anything now." Financial challenges hadn't disappeared. Bills still needed paying, shifts still needed working, but something had fundamentally changed. Emma now saw obstacles as challenges to overcome, not impossible barriers. The community center became more than a training space. It became a symbol of transformation, proof that learning has no age limit, that hope can be learned just like any other skill. As winter turned to spring, Emma's skills grew. Small freelance jobs started coming in. Websites for local businesses, simple programming tasks. Each completed project was a victory, each payment a step towards a different future. Her hands, once marked only by cleaning work, now told a different story. Typing had replaced scrubbing. Possibility had replaced limitation. At night, watching Jack sleep, Emma would quietly practice her coding. The soft glow of the laptop illuminated her determined face, a portrait of a mother rewriting her own story, one line of code at a time. The journey had just begun, but for the first time in years, Emma truly believed that her best days were ahead, not behind. The small tech startup occupied a modest office above the local bakery in Millbrook. Its windows overlooked the town's Main Street, a perfect metaphor for the changing landscape of opportunity that Emma was about to enter. Michael Roberts, the startup's founder, had been watching Emma's progress. Her unique combination of life experience and newly acquired tech skills intrigued him. During her interview, he saw something beyond her technical abilities. He saw resilience. "We need someone who understands real-world challenges," Michael explained. Someone who can think practically, not just theoretically. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she accepted the part-time position. This wasn't just a job, this was a lifeline, a bridge between her past struggles and a potential future. Jack's excitement knew no bounds. "My mum works in technology," he would proudly tell anyone who would listen. His belief in her was absolute, untainted by the doubts that sometimes crept into Emma's mind. The first weeks were challenging. Modern technology moved fast, and Emma had to learn quickly. While younger colleagues breezed through complex coding languages, she approached each challenge methodically, her years of multitasking as a single mother proving to be an unexpected advantage. Her first significant project involved creating a simple management system for local small businesses. Emma understood small business owners better than most. She had been one in her own way, managing her family's survival for years. Michael noticed her unique approach. Where others saw technical problems, Emma saw human stories. Her solutions weren't just about code, but about understanding people's real needs. Late nights became a familiar rhythm. After her other jobs, after putting Jack to bed, Emma would work on her startup projects. The small apartment transformed into a makeshift office, sticky notes with coding algorithms replacing mending threads and cleaning schedules. Local business owners began to take notice. The management system Emma developed wasn't just efficient, it was intuitive. She understood their struggles because she had lived them, managing limited resources, finding creative solutions. Jack became her unofficial support system. He would bring her tea, organize her notes, and sometimes just sit quietly, his presence a constant reminder of why she was fighting so hard. Word spread quickly in the small town. Emma was no longer just the cleaning lady or factory worker. She was becoming a local success story, a beacon of hope for others who believed their circumstances were permanent. The startup began offering her more responsibilities. Short-term contracts turned into more stable work. Her income started to stabilize, something she had never experienced before. Her colleagues respected her differently. They saw her not as the older woman trying to fit in, but as a valuable team member with unique insights. Her life experience became her greatest professional asset. One particular project challenged everything Emma knew, a complex system for tracking community resources, something that could help organizations like the Community Center, where she first learned computers. She poured her heart into every line of code. Michael called her into his office one afternoon. Emma's heart raced, expecting criticism. Instead, he offered her a full-time senior developer position. "You've transformed from a student to a problem solver," he said. "Your approach is unique." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, not of sadness, but of pure, overwhelming hope. This was more than a job. This was validation of every sacrifice, every late night, every moment of self-doubt she had overcome. Jack celebrated by creating a special dinner, pasta with store-bought sauce, carefully arranged to look fancy. "We did this together," he said, hugging her tight. The town seemed to change around Emma. Where people once saw a struggling single mother, they now saw a professional, a woman who had rewritten her own story through determination and learning. Her journey wasn't just about technology. It was about proving that limitations are often just illusions we create for ourselves. One line of code at a time, Emma was building not just software but a future full of possibility. As evening settled over Millbrook, Emma looked out her apartment window. The same streets that once felt like a trap now represented endless potential. She had broken through her barriers, and her real journey was just beginning. The startup buzzed with excitement. A massive project loomed, a comprehensive digital platform for community services that could revolutionize how small towns managed local resources. Michael called Emma into the main conference room, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and challenge. "This could change everything," he said, spreading documents across the table. The project was complex, requiring innovative thinking and practical solutions. Emma realized this was her moment, the opportunity she had been preparing. For throughout her entire journey, Jack's enthusiasm became her secret weapon. Each evening he would sit beside her, offering unexpected insights. What if the system could help people like we were helped? He'd ask, his young mind seeing connections adults often missed. Emma worked tirelessly. Her days transformed from cleaning shifts and factory work to strategic planning and coding. The startup became her second home, her workspace a testament to her determination. Colleagues who once saw her as an outsider now sought her advice. The community platform needed to solve real problems. Emma drew from her own experiences, understanding the challenges faced by struggling families, single parents, and local businesses. Her code wasn't just technical, it was compassionate. Late nights became her new normal. While Jack slept, she would review complex algorithms, her fingers moving across the keyboard with increasing confidence. Each line of code represented a piece of her journey, from struggle to possibility. Michael watched her transformation with growing respect. "You understand something most developers miss," he told her. "You see the human behind the technology." The project demanded more than technical skills. Emma had to present to potential investors, showcase the platform's potential. Public speaking had always terrified her, but she approached it like everything else, with quiet determination. Her first presentation was nerve-wracking. Her hands shook slightly, her Yorkshire accent more pronounced under stress. But when she began explaining the platform, something magical happened. Her passion broke through her nervousness. Local business owners recognized her approach. She wasn't just selling a digital solution, she was offering hope. The platform could help small businesses compete, assist community centers, and support families like hers had been. Jack became her unexpected supporter. He would help her practice, offering suggestions that sometimes were surprisingly insightful. "Mum," he'd say, "explain it like you're helping a friend, not selling something." The startup invested everything in this project. Emma became the heart of the development team, her life experience transforming their technical approach. Where younger developers saw code, she saw solutions to real-world problems. Weeks of intense work followed. Emma balanced her new professional responsibilities with motherhood, proving that dedication knows no boundaries. Jack watched her, learning that challenges are opportunities in disguise. The platform's first test came unexpectedly. A local community center needed an urgent digital solution to manage their resources. Emma's team stepped in, her understanding of community needs making the difference. Michael called her into his office one crisp morning. "The investors are impressed," he said. "Your approach is changing how we think about technology." Emma's journey wasn't just about personal success. It was about proving that background doesn't determine potential. Her path from cleaning jobs to senior developer represented hope for everyone watching. The town began to see her differently, no longer just a struggling single mother, but a professional who was changing how technology could support communities. Local newspapers ran stories about her transformation. Jack's pride knew no bounds. "My mum creates solutions that help people," he would tell his friends, his voice filled with admiration. The project became more than a technical achievement. It was a lifeline for small communities, a digital bridge connecting resources, businesses, and people. Emma had transformed her personal struggle into a universal solution. As presentation day approached, Emma realized how far she had come. The nervous woman who once felt out of place in computer classes was now leading a revolutionary project. Her journey proved that learning has no age limit, that determination can transform lives. The night before the final presentation, Emma looked at Jack sleeping. Tears of pride filled her eyes. She had not just changed her life, she was showing him that every challenge is an opportunity, that hope is something you build line by line, just like code. The awards ceremony filled the community center's main hall, a place that had once been just a distant dream for Emma. Soft lights illuminated the room, casting a warm glow on the faces of local business leaders, tech professionals, and community members. Emma stood backstage, her hands trembling slightly. Jack waited beside her wearing his best shirt, carefully ironed the night before. "You'll be amazing," he whispered, squeezing her hand with a confidence beyond his years. Michael approached, adjusting her conference badge. "You've changed everything," he said quietly. "Not just for our startup, but for everyone watching. The Innovation Award represented more than a piece of metal. It was a symbol of transformation, proof that background, age, and past struggles could never define a person's potential. Emma's journey from cleaning jobs to senior developer had become a beacon of hope for the entire town. As she walked onto the stage, the room fell silent. Emma saw faces she knew: the hotel manager who had always given her extra shifts, her community center instructor David, the local business owners who had trusted her platform. Her acceptance speech was simple, direct. "Every challenge is an opportunity," she began, her Yorkshire accent clear and strong. "Technology isn't about complex codes. It's about solving real human problems." Jack watched from the front row, his eyes filled with pure admiration. He understood something most adults missed, that his mother's success was about more than just a job. It was about breaking cycles, creating new possibilities. The startup's community platform had already helped dozens of local businesses. Small shops could now manage resources more efficiently. Community centers tracked their support systems better. Emma had created something that truly made a difference. Local newspapers captured the moment. "Millbrook's Tech Hero," one headline read. Emma felt uncomfortable with the attention, but Jack's pride made everything worthwhile. After the ceremony, local students approached her. Young women especially looked at Emma with newfound hope. She represented something powerful, proof that learning has no age limit, that determination matters more than background. Her promotion came with responsibilities she never imagined: senior developer roles, speaking opportunities, mentoring young professionals. Emma approached each challenge with the same methodical approach she had learned surviving as a single mother. Jack became her biggest supporter and unofficial assistant. He would help organize her notes, understand complex technical challenges, and remind her of how far they had come. Their relationship had transformed from survival to true partnership. The financial change was significant. For the first time, Emma could breathe without constant financial stress. Holidays became possible, better food found its way to their table, and Jack's educational opportunities expanded. But money wasn't the most important change. Emma had discovered something more valuable: her own potential. The woman who once cleaned floors now spoke at tech conferences, her life story inspiring thousands. Local schools began inviting her to speak. She would tell students about her journey, emphasizing that education is a continuous process. "Learning doesn't stop when you leave school," she would say. "It's a lifelong adventure." The community center where she first learned computers now used her platform. David, her original instructor, would often tell visitors about the remarkable woman who transformed her life through determination and learning. Jack watched his mother's transformation with a wisdom beyond his years. He understood that her success wasn't just about technology. It was about breaking barriers, challenging limitations, creating new possibilities. One quiet evening, as they shared dinner, Jack looked at his mother. "I'm proud of you," he said, simply. Those words meant more than any award, any promotion. Emma's journey represented something universal. It wasn't just her story. It was a story of hope, of resilience, of proving that with determination, passion, and support, anyone could rewrite their life's narrative. The small apartment that once represented struggle now felt like a launching pad for future dreams. Emma looked at Jack, then out the window at Millbrook, a town that had watched her transform from a struggling single mother to a tech innovator. Her story wasn't about becoming rich or famous. It was about proving that every person carries unlimited potential, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be unleashed. As night settled over Millbrook, Emma smiled. Her real journey was just beginning.